Disho na jane na labhe cha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa Dramshtra karalani cha te mukhani drashtvaiva kalanala sannibhani Disho na jane na labhe cha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa Dramshtra karalani cha te mukhani. Having seen your mouths fearsome with tusks, terrible tusks, and blazing like fires of time, I know not the four quarters and find no peace. Have mercy, O Lord of gods, O abode of universe. I find no peace. I am terrified. So Arjuna is realizing his total insignificance. He loses his sense of direction. I know not the four quarters. Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was a very successful soul. And here he's standing in front of the Lord and seeking his mercy. Now, what is the psychological message here? A grand stature like Arjuna finds himself insignificant, finds himself losing his sense of direction, means he has no clarity. He finds himself very insignificant. I'm lost for words here. But what we gather is, unless and until you are in touch with people of higher stature, you don't really know what is your significance. You really know what is your worth. You really know what is your capacity, what is your caliber, only when you are in touch with higher personalities. Otherwise, we always, our ego gets inflated. We all the time of the notion that we are knowledgeable, we believe we know it all. So, but when we are in presence of higher personalities, you know your insignificance. So, in presence of the Lord, Arjuna is lost for sense of direction. He is terrified. In fact, only from a standpoint of perfection can we know how imperfect we are. And realized souls or evolved people are so perfect that we are able to see how imperfect we are. Otherwise, the standpoint is not there. There is no yardstick. See, anything as perfection is relative. When we say, I am perfect, it's a relative term. That very perfection is imperfect from a higher standpoint. When you say, I am unselfish, it's a relative standpoint. When I say I'm a giver, it's a relative standpoint. The same degree of unselfishness becomes extremely selfish from a higher standpoint. So, unless and until you constantly be in the presence of this higher knowledge or higher wisdom, your growth stagnates. You think you have reached that point. So, Arjuna feels how insignificant in presence of the Lord. That's the psychological message. So, obviously, in the previous verses, we saw how overwhelmed Arjuna was. He was overwhelmed with fear. We learned fear arises, the few reasons that we have analyzed. But fundamentally, insecurity arises because of your own selfishness, your own incompleteness. The more unselfish you are, to that extent, there is no insecurity. There is no emotion of fear arising. So he feels small, he feels insignificant, in presence of the Lord. That's the message you get here. We'll chant 26 and 27 together, please. Ami chatvam dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve sahaivavanipala sanghaihi bhishmo drona suta putrasthathasau sahasmadiyayrapi yodha mukhyaihi vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti Dramshtrakaralani bhayanakani kechidvilagna dashanantareshu samdrishyante churnitairuktamangaihi ami chatvam dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve sahaivavanipala sanghaihi bhishmo drona Suta putrasthathasau sahasmadiyayrapi yodha mukhyaihi vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti damshtrakaralani bhayanakani kechidvilagna dashanantareshu samdrishyante churnitairuktamangaihi. Those sons of Dhritarashtra with all the hosts of kings, Bhishma, Drona, and Suta's son Karna, along with our warrior chiefs, into your mouths with terrible tusks. They all are entering into your mouth with terrible tusks, fearful to behold. They hurriedly enter. I don't know why their time has come to die. That's the reason they're hurriedly entering. Everybody are entering into his mouth. Some of them seen sticking in the gaps between the teeth with their heads crushed. Look at the description. So from he is seeing actually. It's not so from verses 26 to 34, the third topic where he talks about the all-consuming destructive expression of the Supreme Being. So you will see the destructive nature from verses 26 to 34. So this is the third topic. So he's giving a graphic description of the destruction that's happening. Who everybody, the sons of Dhritarashtra, who and all the whom he looked up to. So these are the people who are the righteous people. These are the people, you can call them as the virtuous, the good category, and obviously the unrighteous Kauravas. So he's seeing all the good and the bad being destroyed. Yeah, in fact, as you say, he is actually seeing their end. And which, in fact, if you go along the thought flow, the Lord, in the, I think, 31st, 32nd verse, he is going to say, they're anyway going to die. Their end is inevitable. You do your your karma, you do. You're only a nimitta matram. You're only an instrument. Do your duty. Their end is already decided. So he's only trying to see the play of destruction, which is inevitable. All of us are going to die one day. So he's only objectifying the law of creation, maintenance, and destruction, which is what these two verses are saying. Other than that, there is no philosophy here. Everybody are hurriedly entering. No. Indeed. No, sir. If you follow the thought flow, he is seeing the Vishwarupa Darshan, and in that form, he's seeing the entire cosmos. He saw the cosmos as one eye is the sun, other eye is the moon. So he is seeing the entire process of creation and destruction. That's all everything is his visualization. It's not actual perception. It's not that he's actually perceiving anything. The whole form itself is visualization. Sorry? No, it's not God showing him. This is, in fact, to tell us that creation and destruction are an inevitable part of life. He's only seeing these people because he's caught up in the battlefield there. The warfare he's caught up in, he's seeing them being pulverized. Imagine heads are stuck in between the teeth. It's such a ghastly description, isn't it? It's not that pleasing. But what we have to accept is destruction as an inevitable aspect or part of life. That we are not able to accept. Just like creation, we have to accept destruction as well. That's what he is trying to get into our heads. Right. 28. As I said, there is no philosophical takeaway, but just there is the whole chapter is like this. More of psychological implication. Yatha nadinam bahavombuvegaha samudrameva bhimukha dravanti yatha tava मीनरलोकवीराः विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्तिः यथा नदीनां बहवोऽम्बुवेगाः समुद्रमेवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवामि नरलोकवीराः विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्ति. As the many torrents of rivers flowing towards the ocean, I think so these heroes in the world of men enter your flaming mouths. There is a subtle reference to the cycle of birth and death here. Just like we talk of the rivers constantly merge, flow only to get to the ocean, and when the river gets to the ocean, it is the depth of the river and the birth of attainment of totality. So it is the cycle, the continuous cycle of birth and death. Everything that is born must die. That is what he's saying. Now, can you tell me why can't we accept death as gracefully as we accept birth? Why can't we accept destruction as gracefully as we accept construction? When it is just another aspect of life, just like the night and just like the day. You have to accept, when we accept day, we must accept light. When we accept light, we must accept darkness. This is an inevitable aspect of life. But the question is, why are we not able to accept the inevitable aspect of death in life? Good to hear from you, Setuji. You are a rock star, you are. Setuji is raising hand to talk.
Hari Om Guruji. Yeah.
Hari Om, sir. How are you?
Fine, sir. Fine. Just only thing is I am not able to put the video on.
You are sitting.
Yeah. So,
If I
Guruji, yeah.
I will want to let people know. You don't mind me saying so?
Yeah. Please.
Just for everyone's kind information, Setuji right now, he is in the hospital. He is in the hospital bed, having come out of a knee surgery which happened yesterday morning. And right now he is most likely lying on the bed attending the class, and he is talking from there. I bow down to his spirit. Salutations to you, sir. Namaskaram.
Vasanta is also there online. Yeah.
You just are trying to tell the body has gone through repair, not the soul, not the spirit. Yes, indomitable.
Hari Om Guruji, this when birth takes place, the baby is innocent, vasanas are not in play. When death takes place, we are full of desires and attachments. So we don't know, whatever we, however sick we may be and dying, we want hold on. We don't want to leave.
We are not able to
act
something which is being, we are not able to let go. We are not able to let go of. Implication is how strong our attachments are, right?
See, there is a story, I think, I don't know whether you told, one very wealthy merchant was on deathbed and everyone is surrounding him, sons, daughter-in-laws, wife and everyone. He was saying whether this daughter has come, that daughter, this son, that son. He counted all the sons. 6, 7 sons were there. Then his question was, if you all have come leaving the shop, who will look after the shop? He was worried about business. Deathbed. His way, seriously, he told them, you should not leave the shop and come.
True, very true, Setuji. So, the pertinent point is, why are we not able to accept death as much as we accept birth? As a wrong identification, strong attachments, where we don't see life from a perspective of being what the reality is. So we are living in an unreal world. We don't accept the realities of life, isn't it? When we don't accept it, when reality presents itself, it comes as a shock. We are in an unreal world. That's some of the descriptions of this Vedanta. Vedantic knowledge is said as a knowledge, is a preparation to life. Vedanta is the best definition of Vedanta can be given as a knowledge which prepares you to face life, prepares you to deal with what life throws at you. So when it happens, it doesn't surprise you. You're well prepared. Now, question is, how well are we prepared to face the eventualities, face the realities of life? And I must say, very unlikely to find someone who is fully prepared to face what life can throw at them. Somewhere down the line we buckle. Somewhere down the line we falter. We're not able to let go. So whenever there are these concepts of death, you should understand that there is nothing terrible at death. So when you seek something, what you're actually seeking is for your own selfishness. What you're mourning is that you're mourning at your loss. That you are going, there's a vacuum created in your life. What you're announcing is your own emptiness. Somebody goes, let them go. Everybody's journey is individualistic. Why should I have to tag on with anybody? One should not. So that it is that inward capacity that you develop. And many a time, until we are tested, we don't know how equipped we are. Therefore, these are the moments where you consciously discuss the ideas of death and start celebrating it. Can we celebrate the idea of death? That's what we are doing right now. Isn't it? When we say celebrate, we are saying there's nothing wrong with death. We must learn to accept when it happens, so that when it happens, you are well prepared. Many a time, most people collapse. They become incapacitated because they are not prepared to handle life. So there is nothing wrong in celebrating death. Understanding death, that is an inevitable part of life. It is in fact life. Celebrating death is celebrating life itself. It's to understand. There is no accept. We accept it is to the fullest. So that wisdom.
Hariom. Guruji, that's why in our culture, the death is celebrated as the 13th day. On the 13th day, Subha Swikaram, when they really, like a festival, they treat giving new clothes to the family and serving such sumptuous lunch. And it's, in fact, the celebration day after the person dies. Yes. And we go to the temple. So that is symbolic to say that you're actually celebrating the death.
You're supposed to mourn, so be with them, because they have been with you. So they were, so let go of them for a period of time and totally let them go. Yeah. Amazing way of parting ways.
But the moment there is a loss, the question is, to what extent does it incapacitate you? To what extent does it affect you? That is the test. When it affects, the moment you're affected by a loss, that means you are not self-sufficient. One who is self-sufficient, in him, the loss has no effect on him. When you say celebrating death, it's not actually the occasion. I'm talking about it's to gracefully accept that phase of life or that aspect of life. See, suddenly there's a rise of fame, there's a death of fame. Now, when the loss of fame comes into your life, how does it affect you? Does it really affect you? There's a rise of emotion, there's a gush of emotion, and there's a withdrawal of emotion. How does that play of emotions play in your life? Are you able to handle that? So every phase of life, there is it's actually a procession, as they say. Joy and sorrow, birth and death, everything in life is a procession. So the question is, at every juncture, am I able to absorb that extremities and get along with life? To be balanced. You have to be balanced in and through all this. So he's only saying everything is going to end through this couple of set of verses. 29, please. Yatha pradiptam jwalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samruddha vegaha. Hello. Send her out. Distraction for you, Gayatri Ma. Send her out. 29. Yatha pradiptvam jwalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samruddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokaha tavapi vaktrani samruddha vegaha yatha pradiptam jwalanam patanga vishanti nashaya samruddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokaha tavapi vaktrani samruddha vegaha. As moths rush hurriedly into blazing fire for destruction, even so people enter with great speed into your mouths for destruction. He's drawing a simile here, a simile of how a moth has got a weakness for light. They have got a weakness for sight. So these moths are attracted to the light, especially you find in the porch when you have these lights. And the dome, I remember, because in the ashram, we used to have these dome lights, and that there is a rim that sits onto the wall or to the roof, and the dome sits in. And after every 2 months, we used to realize insects gathered. So we used to clean up those domes, wash it off, and refit it. Then there was this thought: how are these little insects that go into it? Because that frame had gaps, holes, so that the heat gets dissipated. Otherwise, the walls, the glass will crack. Then you'll not believe, we came up with an idea. We went and bought a very fine mesh. We cut the mesh to that 3/4 inch or 1 inch, and then we stuck that to the inside part so that these bugs will not go inside. Only air will go, and yet the bugs will not go and kill themselves. Ahimsa, to that extent you are conscious. I remember that exercise we did. But as the moths are drawn to the light and in speed, with great speed, samruddha vegaha. Why is everybody samruddha vegaha to dying? Any idea, Sanjay? Not once, he says twice. The word samruddha vegaha, he uses in the verse twice, he says.
What does that word mean? I missed the word of that, samudra.
Samruddha vegaha means they enter with great speed. Vishanti means enter. So the word samruddha vegaha means with great speed they are entering. And he uses the word twice. Translation, please. So as you see, he's comparing the moths hurriedly rush into the blazing fire for destruction. So too people enter hurriedly with great speed into the mouths of destruction. So the question here is, why with great speed, he says?
No, I can't say with any certainty why with great speed.
See, the object, just think. If we don't pause and examine, we may miss it. What could be the reason why he's saying? So too, he says, people enter with great speed into your mouths for destruction. So there is a similarity between a moth and we entering into the gates of destruction. No idea. No problem. Objective is to just think. Apara garu. Welcome back, sir.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Guruji, here Arjuna is actually seeing the Vishwarupam, and in this last, 4 slokas, what he is seeing is the death, and he is seeing lots of people rushing towards the death. So it's a description where thousands, hundreds of people, he was able to, in the Vishwarupam, millions, billions of people getting destroyed in the, at the same time. They are taking birth. So it's basically, I think it's a metaphor, the way the moths rushing into, into the fire, all the living beings also rushing towards death. It's a natural phenomena where in the Vishwarupam, he was able to see a whole lot of people, rushing towards death. That's what I'm assuming.
But the question is, why are they rushing? What we are examining is, he qualifies that journey into death as a rush. They're hurriedly rushing. There's a hurry towards that destruction.
So
Now, let's analyze it from a point of view of the moth. Why does a moth hurriedly rush into that flame? Does it know it is going to get destroyed? Does a moth know?
no.
So also can be.
They're attracted towards the light. So similarly, we are all attracted towards our own destruction.
That is what the message.
But they are not aware they are going to destroy it.
Correct.
They are not aware that they are not going to
They
destroy.
are not aware. So
We can be aware
no, we are being brought to aware.
through this.
The deluded people don't realize. A wise man is not, he doesn't. So this applies to people who are drawn away ignorantly. So again, it's a qualified interpretation. But when we compare an example or a simile, there are aspects of comparison. So when we say interpreting the word hurriedly, they are entering. Why are the moths entering? Moth enters the flame and gets destroyed. Why? Because it gets attracted to the source of light. It doesn't realize that it is going to cause its own downfall or destruction. Similarly, humanity are drawn to a certain way of life which is bringing about their own destruction. But do they realize that path or that journey towards it, is it going to bring their own downfall? No. Just like the moth doesn't realize, they are attracted. So there's a comparison. Again, as I said, a limited comparison of a moth here to the deluded people are enchanted by the tantalizing objects of the world, just like a moth is enchanted by the light in the yonder. The deluded people are enchanted by the worldly temptations and attractions. They develop, what do they develop? They develop the Vega, they develop the Trishna, the thirst, they rush into the world as it were, as if there is no world for tomorrow for enjoyment. What happens tomorrow? Is the world going to run away from you?
After 31st, it doesn't end.
Then you must see how people live, as if there's no tomorrow.
As if there's no tomorrow. So the world is rushing into, people are rushing into the world to, in fact, this Srinivas Garu sent me a message of a very high network couple in US. They got into a financial problem. Husband, wife, one from Stanford, another from Harvard, and their only daughter. High net worth individuals, because they had a property worth 4-5 million they sold, and they all committed suicide because of financial problems. And the article said they got caught in the trap of greed. When is the world enough to comfort you or satisfy you? And also says, and then it is justifying, all that the world can give you the success, is it going to keep you contented and happy? All the degree, all the money, all the wealth, all the name, all the applause, it's not worth it, where the whole entire family committed suicide. You want to chew more than you can swallow. This is the rush we're talking about. Why you want to go out into the world to believe that you want to grab the entire world for yourself? That Trishna, it's because of that thirst and greed, people are consuming and they're destroying their peace, destroying their lives. Typical example is Ravana. We're all one who runs behind the world trying to grab and aggrandize the world. No, we all have this very fundamental desires to enjoy. But you should not have the Trishna for enjoyment. When somebody offers you something palatable to eat, we're not saying you should not enjoy. Please enjoy. I'm not sitting on a couch of thorns. When I said, give me a couch to sit, I said, I need a comfortable seat. I didn't say, please plant thorns in this couch. Did I? Dagrima? They tell, please plant few thorns there because I don't want any comfort for my, sorry to use the word, bum. No, bum is a very celebrated word because people use bum equipment. There is a brand called bum equipment. You know that, no? There's a brand. You all heard? How many of you know the brand called? Sanjay, you have not heard? You don't use? You're in a village you are living. How many of you heard the word? Harish, you know, isn't it? Harish knows. So please tell them they think I'm exaggerating.
He's probably trading in it.
No, there is I'm not exaggerating.
The sitcom.
Harish, where you heard that?
Oh, I've seen it in some places, in some outlets.
What is that outlet name? Where have you seen?
I've seen it in some department stores, in some of the shops. I don't remember specifically where, but I've seen the brand quite a bit in the last few years.
What is that brand called? Name?
Bum equipment.
Correct. I want it from your mouth. Otherwise,
Yeah, bum equipment. Yeah, bum equipment.
The brand is called Bum Equipments. I saw it in Malaysia first time. When I saw it, I never forgot it. Because the name is like that. How can you forget that name? It is there in that part of the world. Maybe I don't know if it's a Malaysian, but it's there in Hong Kong also, Harish has seen. So when I wanted some seat, you don't have to sit yourself in a seat of thorn. We're not practicing Hatha Yoga here. People who practice Hatha Yoga will sleep on a bed of nails, they'll pierce themselves with all sorts of things in the name of religion. You don't have to punish yourself. There's a thin line between satisfying your senses vis-a-vis a greed for the senses. So they are So these are the deluded people running behind the world, aggrandizing, trying to grab more what they can have. And in that process, they're destroying themselves. In that sense, he's saying, rushing. Samruddha vegaha. These are the people running towards their own self-destruction. Premature destruction. You may say it's all their prarabdha vasanas have ended. That's another way of philosophizing it. But still, how you die is a miserable death. I may die one day. We all have to die one day. But what is the journey I take to that end? I don't have to die every day and then die ultimately. I can celebrate my life and then why die one day joyfully, no? So, as the mod, so that's a comparison. So therefore, what is the suggestion here? The implication is that we must live a life of a very important concept. We always must remind ourselves, we must live a life of the middle path. The middle path must be lived at all levels of one's personality. The life of a middle path. It is very easy to take the extremities. The extremities in the context are the extremities with reference to in the context of sense contact. What are two extremities, sir?
Is it the birth and death, Guruji?
No. What I'm asking is, we said in the context of enjoyment, you don't have to punish your senses, nor should you be a slave to your senses. So there is a middle path. So in order to draw the middle line, you must know the extremities first. So what are the extremities with reference to senses or sense contact?
Attachment and detachment.
You are talking with reference to the mental. Attachment and detachment is a mental attitude. At the physical level, what are the extremities people go? One extremities people go is indulging in the world as if there is no tomorrow. End of the year. Okay, how are people going to celebrate next year? New Year. Celebrating in the most inauspicious way.
By a bash.
How should you celebrate the New Year? The most auspicious or inauspicious way?
It all depends on the person. It all depends on the person's attitude, Guruji. That's what I feel.
Absolutely. Invariably, it's the person's attitude. But I'm asking.
If the person is sensuous and is totally, I mean, say, only to satisfy his senses, he goes in a very different manner. If the person is spiritual, he goes to a temple and prays to the God.
Indeed.
And most of the people I've seen, both type of people I've seen. Some people, they spend their time, during the New Year, going to the temple, praying to the God. And some people, enjoying drinking, doing that and this and dancing, cutting the cake and so many singing. And both extremities are there. It is how you indulge yourself and how you become a stooge to your senses.
So, right, very true. So one set of people are completely licentiously indulging as if there's no tomorrow.
Yes.
Set of people, other extremities, they go through complete abstinence and they don't contact the world. So there is and then they put themselves to such regime that they punish themselves. So you don't have to punish yourself, nor should you have to give an extreme license to your senses. There is that middle path. So in every aspect of life, there's a middle path, is the point we're making. Right, Ji?
Yes.
Thank you, Ji. Yes, Haresh.
Oh no, Guruji, I also wanted to share the answer, but you've answered it pretty much exactly the way I was written it. That People are living recklessly for short-term indulgence, thus causing their own destruction. That was my answer, Guruji, to the original question.
To the question why they're hurriedly rushing,
Yes, correct.
could you come again on that, please?
Yeah, people are living recklessly for short-term indulgence, thus causing their own destruction. That was my answer during the exercise.
You know, one has to just go and stand outside and just see. Just have to stand outside in the world and see the rush. Provided you are not in the rush. You just have to stand away, stand apart from sea and all that mad rush and running around. Other day, very sad news came. I lost one of my badminton colleagues or acquaintances. Friend, I would say, well-wisher, late 40s, collapsed, heart attack on the ground while playing. And when we came to know, there was no history of any problem, but he was a workaholic. He barely slept 4 hours a day. Barely could sleep 4 hours a day. From 4 o'clock in the morning, he's running around, or whatever time he gets up, until night, late 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and again he gets up 5 o'clock, again running. He was involved with one of the MNCs. He was a chartered accountant, a high net worth, what hedge fund managers they call, that kind of thing all the time. I'm not trying to tarnish his image. What I'm trying to tell is, just collapsed. Before you realize he's gone. Not able to give yourself the essential sleep. Your body needs 7-8 hours of sleep. You're not even giving yourself that much. Forget time for the family, forget time for your own self, you're not able to give. And when it happens, as they say, life can be so uncertain. And those who are with him, next minute is gone. In fact, a second friend we lost. Matter of few.
Some months back.
Yeah. A couple of years back, we lost another friend. Same. Collapsed. In the court, while playing, heart attack, collapsed. There's nothing to do with playing badminton, please. Don't have funny thoughts. There's nothing to do with the game. It's to do with their
Physical.
Their lifestyle and approach to life. Sanjay, you wanted to ask something? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll ask actually. So when reading this, it feels like these people are rushing towards death. And I understand what you've said in the last few minutes, people just kind of going towards a world and all of that. But this sounds like they're moving towards death, towards God at great speed.
Towards?
They're moving towards God, no? They're moving towards God's mouth at great speed. No?
I can't get you the exact words. Are you saying these are the people rushing towards death or towards God, right?
Yeah. Are we not talking about these people moving towards this God's mouth?
Which is, see, the form that is being visualized is the Brahman, totality. Now, when you philosophize it, what do you see? That from Brahman has emerged what? The world. In the world, there are manifestations of creation, destruction, maintenance. So he is only putting it in a cosmic form where he is actually seeing destruction of these men, which is only trying to portray that death or destruction is a part of life. which we say as Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So there is no confusion there. He's only trying to put it in a visualization. He's visualizing the actual depth. So if we were to stand apart and see, as I've said, you see all the chaos happening around you. If we perhaps take a step back from a distance and nothing to do with all this, you could see many people being born, many people dying. Don't we see the process of birth and death around us all the time? So it's only telling the inevitable that is going to happen or that's happening around us. Okay? Yes, Setuji?
Hariom Guruji, in the beginning we want more and more and we indulge. In the end we get neutralized.
In the beginning we want more and more of?
Whatever we are after and we indulge. In the end, nothing gives you a kick, even any quantity. So everything is neutralized. Like an alcoholic, a small peg will give him a kick, but he wants more and more. Slowly it becomes his capacity. His kick, he will get a kick only on fourth peg. In the end, he reaches a stage where even doctor says if he takes alcohol, he neither can take nor he doesn't give him any pleasure, and when he stops also he is in pain.
No, but the sad part is we don't gain the wisdom from our neutralization that we have got into with certain objects. We start repeating the cycle with every experience. With every indulgence, every contact, we are getting neutralized to it. In fact, in that process, we are actually losing the joy of life.
Yeah.
Everything that we do. In fact, we are sick and tired of our partners.
Even in money, somewhere in Malaysia, I think, one richest man on deathbed, he wanted to distribute all his wealth. There was a queue of people. He said he just gave bundles of notes. He says, I'm going to die anyway. What will I do with all these notes? So that came, it was in the press photograph, and Malaysia or Singapore, one place. I think the Chinese or someone. There was a huge queue, and he was sick and he was even unable to sit, but he realized his folly and he wanted to at least distribute to all those who need it.
Sad. Yes, Ji. Thank you.
Yeah.
There is a saying, no? Fools rush where angels fear to tread. So where a wise man would think twice of going, the fools rush there. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. They don't want to tread that path where fools are rushing in. So the wise people are afraid of the senses. The fools are reveling in the senses. This is exactly the words in the Gita. Earlier chapters, he says, the fools revel in the senses and the wise are afraid of the senses. Bhaya. They worship the senses. That's why we say Shat Sampatti. Yesterday when we read the Kathopanishad, one of the Shat Sampatti, one of the sixfold qualities of wealth, one of the qualities is self-control. It's important that you must practice self-control. And if you don't practice self-control, you're inviting trouble. It's inevitable death. Yes, Apollo Garu.
Guruji, in this particular shloka, last 3-4 shlokas, is it that Arjuna visualizing what Krishna said in chapter 10th, that he is Rudra, he is Shankara of Rudras, 11 Rudras, and also he is Lord Yama of death. So when people rushing, he's able to see the Rudras, and Rudra is the fire, and Lord Yama is the death. So is it that he is seeing and visualizing?
You could say so, but he is actually seeing, which was captured in the 10th chapter analytically. This is being shown synthetically. So it's exactly picturization. In fact, imagine if we have to portray all that was captured in the 10th chapter in a picture, that will be a huge portrait, which will have to have, in fact, the real Vishwarupa Darshan picture, if we have not seen, I'm sure we have seen some stage, it has got multifold heads, multifold hundreds of arms, with so much happening in that picture. You have to capture everything. So he is actually relating to what was told in the form. So you're right. Okay, Ji.
Yeah, thank you, Guruji.
But from our perspective, what is the philosophy? What is the learning? How can you connect that philosophical message into our lives? That's the point we got to take. Doesn't matter what Arjuna is seeing. He's seen and gone, chapter gone. Question is, how can I live my day? How can I apply that philosophy in my life? What transformation can I bring in my life? That's important. Okay. We'll take one more. 30th, please. Lelihyate grasamana samantat lokan samagran vadanaijvalabdhihi tejo bhirapurya jagat samagram bhasastavogra pratipanti Vishnu. Lelihyate grasamana samantat lokan samagran vadanaijvalabdhihi tejo bhirapurya jagat samagram bhasastavogra patipanti Vishnu. I think he is in a destructive mode. All these verses. So describing destruction. Bhayam. Devouring all the people on every side with falling mouths. Enna idu? Can you please grammatical check pannu? It's not falling mouths, flaming mouths. Or what check pannu grammatical. Idella typo error. Suddenly, when I'm typing, it's like falling, flaming, it becomes falling. But it is every side with flaming mouths. The beauty of the mantra is, I like this verse, and the word here he says is Lelihyate. Ennu theriyuma Shivaji Lelihyate? Licking. After neenga tayir sadham saapthukku appuram, what do you do? Aha. And the licking, that sense of satisfaction you get is ultimate. People are endorsing in the classroom here also. I hope you also agree to that. Which the Lord also is doing. Devouring all the people on every side with flaming mouths, you are licking. This is the word he uses. Your fierce rays filling the whole world with radiance are burning. O Vishnu, O Lord. Your fierce rays filling the whole world with radiance.
Why should you be looking all those?
The question is that I'm going to ask you, consuming and licking people on all sides.
You don't want to waste, like you don't want to waste.
Why is he
look at-
licking?
You don't want to waste, so you look at it.
No, Adhikari, but here we are talking of destruction. Having, you know, he's devouring, swallowing and licking. Look at this kind of, I don't know, it's difficult to make a rational
No, you cannot.
understand.
No, all these few slokas are,
Forget it, is it?
it's one of the most difficult ones to interpret and
Interpret
bring in
and-
some kind of balance to it.
Because you usually lick as a sign of contentment or satisfaction after some enjoyment.
And what do you like?
Invariably, something you like, you enjoy it, you lick. But why is he using the word licking? Ashama will explain to us. Because only one Asha senior will explain. Someone with deep philosophical, poetic angle only can see this. And you are the queen of poetry in this classroom.
नहीं गुरुजी
नहीं मने क्या? आपको बोलना पड़ेगा.
क्या बोलूं
How can Lord be licking the blood and the bone after destroying people? How can he be content and happy with such destruction?
आपको मालूम नहीं इसलिए पूछ रहे हैं.
हमें मालूम नहीं इसलिए आपको पूछ रहे हैं. That's what she.
perhaps this is all an exaggeration for to give a impact.
What impact is the question? Okay, exaggeration, understand. But what is the message of the Lord licking? See, usually you associate that with a carnivore, no? If you see a carnivore, after divorce with its, it will plunge its face into the carcass and tears apart the bone and the meat. And after that, it just starts licking its paws and licking all over. Huh? A tiger or a carnivore, that's typical. So he is trying to portray. How could the Lord be content with that? What can we gather? Trying to convey that what we have gathered is that licking symbolizes an act of satisfaction, of contentment.
Yes.
But here it is associated with destruction. So what is that sense of satisfaction with destruction?
Perhaps he enjoys both creation and destruction.
Oh,
I don't know.
No. It could be anybody's guess.
beyond
In fact,
any.
we say the Lord has got nothing to do with the whole world. I have got nothing to do with it. Absolute sense. Any idea? Anybody?
अनुमान गलत हो सकते हैं. अनुमान to guess. अनुमान गलत हो सकते हैं. अनुभव कभी गलत नहीं होता. Guessing, when you're guessing, you may make a mistake. But when you actually experience it, you don't make a mistake.
इसमें अनुभव कैसा आएगा?
लेकिन देखना.
So please don't experience any of that. Oh, I have got satisfaction of other people. We don't want to experience that, please. It's interesting. As I said, some of these verses, we may have to think a little, expand our line of thought just to gather what is he trying to convey. So it may be sometimes challenging. Thanks, Ma. Yes, Aparagaru.
Guruji, when solving, licking, and other things. So what as a part of destruction?
You do that or not?
Pardon,
If you do,
Guruji?
disqualified to answer the question.
What is it? Why? Yeah, even the thing is, the way the description, unable to hear.
Do you do that?
Yes, I do it. Yeah.
Then now you're qualified to answer the question.
Okay. Yeah. So when the
Is it-
God is not leaving anything, there's no shesha, there's no balance. He is taking the whole thing. He is not leaving any part untouched. He is absorbing the whole thing. So that is the reason he's talking about eating, licking, so whatever it is. So he's not leaving anything untouched. So it's a total destruction.
After killing, you're licking. What is complete destruction? Finished. Destruction finished. Leftover, you're licking.
Yeah, that's what he is doing. He's not even killing. After killing, he's not leaving anything on the earth or in the cosmic world. He is absorbing the whole whatever it is.
Whatever it is, right, sir. Got it, sir. I get it. Right, Ji. Yes, Annapurnama.
Namaste, Guruji. It's only a guess I'm putting for. The Lord in this destruction form, he is licking things out, not because, not a symbol of enjoyment, but he's eager to totally wipe them out without a trace of their earlier follies, and eager to create them anew, to give them another chance to correct themselves. Could it be said like that?
As I said, we're all attempting intelligent guess. So it makes rational sense to take it, In fact, perhaps what it could mean when you say licking as a sense of satisfaction, and the Lord licking refers to the satisfaction of the laws that are functioning meticulously. See, destruction is inevitable law of life. So licking symbolizes a sense of satisfaction and contentment. That's what we said. Now, the question is, how do we connect that contentment to destruction? So the Lord licking towards destruction symbolizes how the satisfaction of the meticulous laws that are functioning in the world, including the law of destruction. Like when you look at a factory, a chairman looking at a factory, all departments in the organization, every department is functioning meticulously. And there's a department which has to fire people who are non-performers. They have lost their jobs. It could mean a very difficult phase for them. So the chairman looking at from the top and seeing, oh, this fellow who is meant to sack jobs, he's doing his job. This fellow is doing his clerical job. He's doing administrative job, hiring job. All departments are functioning meticulously. That kind of a satisfaction that everybody is doing their job well. So this law of the law of destruction is functioning meticulously. To that, perhaps he symbolizes, he's symbolizing the law of destruction, which we have understood is an integral part of life, and we must learn to accept death, because life would be terrible without it. Without death, life becomes terrible. So let's accept death, because death is necessary for life to go on. Only thing, we don't accept it if it happens something close to us. If it happens neighbor's house, we are fine. Neighboring country, it's fine. Now, our country, in my house, my place, it should not happen. That is attachment. So let's accept it as a fact. No death, there is no birth, there is no life. Life has to happen. So let's accept it gracefully. So it's come at the most unexpected time that we don't want to talk of death, but it is the death of the old year and the birth of the new year. So we will celebrate the death of the old year and wishing you all a blessed new year and hope to see you all next year. We'll conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.